Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Stephen,
Yes.
Sue. He's not here. Deb, can you
I
hear
just
me?
emailed her to remind her.
Oh, that it's at
Yeah.
7. Deb, yeah. Clay,
Yeah, in case you forgot.
you're out there, yes.
Here. Yep.
Okay, and we'll go through the people when we get to them, since Diane's not here anyway. Okay. Good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. We are almost a year of this. This is just amazing. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth, due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, in order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The general public is allowed and encouraged to ask questions during the meeting when directed by the commission chair and through the use of the raise hand feature associated with the Zoom meeting app. Those that have questions and comments regarding a particular hearing will be called upon in the order they raise their hand, so please be patient. And if you can't figure out how to raise your hand on the little app, just give a wave. We can do that. Meeting materials. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or your computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Okay, first on the agenda is 138 Richardson Drive, DP file number 234859 for a notice of intent. Before we start, I just want to make sure the people on this list can hear me and are available to speak if so desired. Josh Russo.
Hi, this is Devette Russo. Josh is not signed on, so I think he may have gotten tied up with the kids or something.
Is that okay?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
I'm also one of the property owners, so.
Okay, so it's okay if we don't wait for Josh?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Ed Tarka,
Here, present.
Bill Halsing? Bill?
Bill is not here. He has an accident. Mark Gates is
Mark Gates, you're
in
here.
his place.
Yes, I am.
And John Kosh.
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, so those are all of the people for 138 Richardson Drive. And who would like to do this presentation? Please state your name again for the record. And if you have something to share, that would be great.
I will start off. Ed Tucker, builder of the project.
Okay.
You've already met the team here. We're proposing to tear down an equivalent size home that we're proposing to build. Most of the work is for the home is going to be outside the 100-foot buffer, just the right rear corner of the existing structure, and the proposed structure will be in between the 50 and the 100-foot buffer. all work will be outside the 50-foot buffer. Nothing will be inside that.
I'm
The-
sorry, before you continue, do we have a plan or anything that we can share on the screen? And maybe Clay has one if you do not, if nobody in your team has one?
I do have something that I colored up a bit today.
Oh,
could
that,
probably
yeah,
put
just
it
so
add up.
we're all looking at the same thing would be helpful. We don't necessarily need to look at each other.
All right, let me give it a shot.
Okay, Clay can help. And then, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Ed. You can keep going as soon as this is,
No
so we're
problem.
all looking at something. Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So you can see the right rear corner of the
Yeah.
proposed dwelling is, falls between the 100 and 50-foot buffer. The rear yard, as it stands, will encompass the infiltrator system, which will again fall between the 50-foot and the 100-foot buffer. And the associated landscaping that's on John Cox's landscape plan, which we'll probably pull up at a later time. There currently is a large left rear area that's currently landscaped with shrubs and mulch that we're proposing to add some grassed area on the project. We'll also probably be increasing the amount of impervious area, 700 square feet over the existing conditions
That's for the entire property or just within the 100-foot buffer?
for the entire property. And as you can see, most of the hardscape is outside the 100-foot buffer
Yep.
on their
Is
plan.
there any increase in impervious in the 100-foot buffer?
Mark, do you happen to have that information?
Now, let me
We
see if I
have it
can
in total.
I can flip back and forth between the existing and the proposed. It's, the roof is that brownish color. The other impervious area patios is the light gray. And you can kind of see it, it's fairly even. I don't know what the exact square footage is in that 100-foot buffer zone.
And under existing conditions, is any of the house or driveway or impervious area being managed with stormwater of any type? Is the stormwater
Not that I'm
currently on the site?
Not that I'm aware of. The house is a little older than would be expected for that.
Yeah, there are no existing infiltrator systems at all. It's all surface water.
And how
And-
much are you infiltrating now? What are you proposing?
Proposing, if we just take a look at the increase of impervious, it's about 690 square feet. If we apply a 1 inch of runoff to that, that's a requirement of infiltrating 58 cubic feet. We're actually providing 509 cubic feet of infiltration, so it really is offsetting about 6,000 square feet of impervious area.
So
So
under
we've gone-
proposed conditions, you're infiltrating the entire roof?
we're infiltrating the entire roof, and that's capable of withstanding a 2-year storm without any discharge for the infiltration.
Any trees to be removed?
Yes, we're proposing to remove 4 trees and replace them with 4 trees and 8 shrubs. And that'll show up on the landscape plan. As we
That's
move
something that's
forward.
gonna appear in front of us?
Yes. Let's see, and then, yeah, you've talked to Mark and John, who's the landscape architect, so I think we can address any questions regarding hydrology and softscape to those 2 gentlemen.
Okay. Are you done with your part?
Yes.
Okay, who's next? Anybody? Does the landscape architect want to speak?
Yeah, I'm
John?
happy to, I can share if you want the landscape plans.
Yeah.
If
Please.
Mark, you just want to stop sharing your, that plan.
Yeah,
there.
let me figure that out. Hopefully, there we
There
go.
you go. Let's see.
And your name again for the record?
John Koch. All right, everybody can see this?
Yes.
All right, let me just, so we've done a tree removal plan. I had a discussion with Clay previously, and we talked about the trees that we're planning to remove within the 100-foot. So there's actually 3 in between the 150-foot barrier, and then there's 2 actually that are outside. So it's 5. But for the purpose of mitigation, Clay was mostly concerned with the 3 in this area here. So there's these 3 here. You can see the if I go back to the master plan, you'll see the previous grass area is this line here. And so we're proposing this to be the new grass area. This is all currently mulched and disturbed landscape ornamental plantings.
Okay, hold on. I think you're going a little fast for me.
Okay.
First, stop moving the plan. That would help. Thank you. So now I see a squiggly line that looks like that's the edge of the grass.
Correct.
And what you're saying is that the proposed edge is the same?
No, we're expanding it a little bit.
Oh, you're expanding a little bit.
Yes.
And in that, there's 3 or 4 trees that are coming down in the 100-foot buffer area.
In between the 100 and the 50, there's 3 trees that are coming down.
But I thought there was 4 trees coming down.
There are on the site total. There's 5 actually. So there's 2 trees outside of the 100 that are coming down, and there's 3 in between the 100 and the 50.
I guess, can you go back to the plan? Because I thought I counted 4 trees in between the, I thought I counted a lot more than that.
No, there's 1 removal here, 2, and then 3.
Oh, the T is a
These are
tree
trans-
that's staying. Oh,
Yeah.
what's happening? What's the T mean?
We're proposing those to be transplanted. So there's 5 dogwoods. There's a paper bark maple. There's a redbud, and there's 3 Stewartia trees. These are ornamental trees currently in a landscaped bed. So we're proposing to transplant those trees on the site.
And they're small enough that that's possible?
Yeah.
So Allison, do you have any comments about the trees at this stage?
Yes. It's great you're transplanting those trees. Those are nice species. I have a question. I would like to see photographs of you say 2.7, but I'm assuming it's a 27-inch oak and an 18-inch oak.
Those are like, it's 2.7 feet. So it's
2.7 feet. Oh.
30 inches.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'd like to see photographs of those. And I don't really understand why they're coming down from a grading point of view. It seems like it's just aesthetic. Is that true?
There's one that's more of a grading issue for the expansion of the lawn area. If I can go back to the master plan for a second.
Okay.
You'll see that 2.4 foot oak is in this area right here. We'd be cutting it a little bit close if we were to push the lawn out and regrade the slope a little. It would just be affecting the root system. So the plan was to remove that one and move the lawn out, and replant a native tree in that space.
Do you have photographs of those 2 big trees? The 2.7 foot oak and the 2.6 foot oak?
Probably not offhand, but I did go out and I tagged all the trees on site.
Like, what's the health of them? I mean, did you evaluate the health?
I'm not an arborist, so I didn't make a final call on them.
Okay. Okay. I just have questions about that you absolutely have to remove those 2. that if it's just an aesthetic thing, then I think the commission should take that into consideration, even if you're replacing, because those are big trees and you're replacing with little trees.
And they're
shrubs.
oaks, they're
they're
nice
oaks.
trees.
Yeah, so they have a lot of value. And I mean, if it's a grading issue, you could put a retaining wall. I'm a landscape architect as well, and I know about trees and health. So I think that that I have a little bit of worries about those two trees. And the other thing is, when I looked at your plan, it looks like there's more patio in your plan than there is in the first plan that we looked at. There's like another area. So I'm not sure which one we're supposed to think is the real hardscape plan, the landscape architect's plan or the colored plan that Mark put up. It looked like it was a little different. Am I wrong? I might be wrong, but it looks like there's another like area of terrace in the landscape architecture plan, like a little triangle, a little rectangle. It's not contiguous with other. Maybe it's just a draft plan and it's not final, but that's what it looked like to me, that it was slightly different.
All right, I'm back.
Is that true, John, or am I wrong?
Oh, I think he was gone for a while. I was looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh, John, my
Hold on.
question
Hold
was.
on.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I answered my phone in the middle of Ms. Russo has her hand up. So do you have a question or did you just?
No, just a comment. I think Allison asked about, or maybe you asked about the health of the trees. I did have an arborist go out and take a look. We use Rolf Briggs of tree specialists in Holliston. And I didn't, they don't look great, you know, was his assessment. They both had some storm damage. One of them is a double trunk, you know, comprised, and that's the one I think, I don't know if that's the 31 or the smaller one. And it's a deep V, but, you know, we'll certainly get you photos, and I can ask Rolf to go out and take another look and give, you know, a written assessment if that's.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
And I was also out at the site earlier today, so I do have some photos.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
Necessarily close up of the individual trees, but kind of across the site, you can at least see the trees that are in question here.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the trees because I would like you to show those photos in a few minutes. But is the applicant have anything more to add at this moment?
No, not about the trees.
Anybody else on the team? Are you done with your presentation? Didn't actually
yes.
talk about the wetlands at all.
No, I mean, I can show you what we're proposing as far as you know, replacement trees, if that's something you want to see.
Yes, that would be great. So anything that's in the wetlands, I mean, in the buffer zone, 100 feet or closer, we'd like to
Yep.
see.
So we've proposed to plant 4 Acer saccharum sugar maples as a mitigation planting, as well as 6 Clethrell and 2 Viburnum dentatum on the site.
Are those all native plants?
They are, yep.
Okay.
And it's sort of uphill from the, you know, if we were a little closer to the wetland or in the wetter area, we are still significantly uphill of that. So I don't, you know, I think the sugar maples will be good as opposed to a red maple or something else that would want wet feet. So.
Now this ledge that's shaded, is there a
Yep.
reason why some of it's shaded and there's other ledge that's not shaded?
No, I think that's just an inconsistency in the drafting. Sorry.
And is the ledge exposed as it stands and you're not changing that at all?
We're not changing it. No, I mean, this is, you know, from land planning survey. So we won't be touching the ledge. It'll stay as is.
And one thing Allison was talking about that you may have been gone is that the patio on the landscape plan may
See the
not
little-
look.
See the little square?
Is
This
that
off-
like a fire pit or something?
No, the one that's a square, that one, that doesn't, I don't remember that on the other plan.
I think it was on there.
Was it?
On Mark's plan?
Yeah, on March plan.
Yeah, I just showed that as an impervious area. It was
Oh,
grayed
okay.
out.
So that's included in your impervious calcs.
Yes, it is.
Okay. The other thing is, John, what is, I'm looking at your key and I see ASCA and VD, but I'm looking at the key and there's a PA and there's an ST in next to the little green
Yes.
plants themselves. What are those? Those aren't in the key.
Those are the transplants.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, they're up on this key up here.
Okay.
So those are all the
Oh, okay. I see them now. Okay.
and actually 6 of the 10 or yeah 6 of the 10 transplants are actually native trees as well. So we're keeping those on the site, and then the shrubs we're proposing to colonize up here
Okay.
on the hillside.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else in your team have anything more to add?
I do just a couple more points. We talked about the infiltration system. So we're probably leaving the site a little bit better as far as infiltration. We've also pretty well matched or slightly reduced the runoff for the 2 10 and 100-year storms as well. So I think we've got every one of the stormwater management standards covered on this.
I'm actually going to give you a compliment in that that was a really thorough and clean and easy to follow stormwater report, and I was very impressed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it was really good. And where's Deb? It's a good one to kind of keep as a example. This is kind of what they should look like. It was simple. There wasn't a lot of information, extra information. I could go through it and agree with the numbers. The precipitation was well figured out. The infiltration rate was reasonable. There was a test pit in the right location. It was good. So thank you for making that part very easy.
You're welcome.
And it is an improvement over existing conditions. I can give you that. It's the trees still, I think that might be the concern. Okay, so anything else in your team to add? I'm going to ask the commission if any others have any questions. Steve, do you have any questions or comments?
No comment.
Artie?
Nothing.
Bill?
Just a couple questions. How confident are you to getting the depth for the basement? Yeah, as you encroach that ledge, do you anticipate any hydraulic hammering, blasting, things like that?
Cellar floor is very close to existing cellar floor, so we expect minimal. We'll probably use the same sewer trench, which is fairly deep. It's basement level, basement slab level. So we'll probably follow that same path. The water trench will follow the same in our replication of those to minimize any dealing with ledge. We also anticipate, although we probably didn't do a calculation yet, but based on the size of both foundations, there'll probably be minimal offsite trucking of surplus soil.
It does look like you're getting the new foundations going closer to where that ledge comes out. So it could rise as you move back there.
Yeah, chances are we probably wouldn't blast. We would hydraulically fracture to not get into the main pot.
Do you anticipate, does a current house have a sump pump or any water in the basement issues that would need to be mitigated, or sump pumps put in or anything?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't
Do you
anticipate that.
currently live in the house, Ms. Russo?
I'm actually, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually Josh's mom and one of the owners of the property. He and his wife and 2 kids lived in the house, and we anticipated being able to go a little faster, with respect to getting things done, but the pandemic kind of, got in our way. So they are now living in another house in Needham. And haven't lived in that house. Oh gosh, they moved out, I think December, kind of time frame.
But
But
long enough to know if there was water in the basement?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they've been there since 2011 or 12, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, they're both, their oldest child is 7. She was born, a couple of years after they moved into the house. Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
It's currently
just
a- It's
yeah.
currently a finished basement.
Yeah.
So there would be issues if we had a water table issue.
I guess my only other comment would be, I think the commission should probably give the applicant a little bit of latitude with the footprint of those infiltration chambers. Just, I know they did a test hole in the area, but my experience with that much ledge is it could roll, and we don't really know what happens beneath the surface. So give them a little bit of latitude to site those after excavation. That's all I have.
Yeah. If that system needs to shift around, as long as you end up basically having it the same size. I mean, there's a good amount of space back there to put it in, so I think they can
Thanks.
find Peter, where are you, Peter?
Yeah, I did have a question about trees. So in particular the transplanted trees, how many, just a count of the trees, are currently in the buffer zone? I know you're moving some in, it looks like. Are you moving them around within the buffer zone, or are they coming from outside the buffer?
So there are some that are outside the buffer zone. So currently right now there's really actually one that's only inside the 100-foot. There's another one that's like on the line.
Okay, so
It's the majority.
so that must be where the 4 is coming from, because that one is being dug up, and so it's going to be figured into whatever survival count is done, because we expect that one to stay alive. All right, yeah,
Right.
that's fine. That's what I thought from the plan, but I was a little confused
as
by
a
all of the
transplant,
circles.
yeah,
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was confused by the circles, yeah, and the X's and the T's. Allison, you have anything more to add?
No, I would like to see those photographs that,
Yeah, Clay has photographs. Can you bring those up? Is that the,
So yeah, this is
2.7.
the backyard looking towards the neighbor. This was one of the oaks that's tagged for removal, and you can see it's got the codominant stems coming up. This is the grading going down to the wetland. The backyard is pretty much higher than the wetland area, and there is a small stream offset that is intermittent attached to one of the town, I think, drainage systems that goes out further back.
Is that definitely an intermittent stream? I hadn't really thought about the fact that there was a stream.
oh, it's a
Yeah.
nice house.
After I saw the stream kind of emerging from the snow when I was out there today, I checked both the stream stats and the USGS topos, and it doesn't meet the definitions for perennial, so it's just it looks like a little drainage, like seasonal drainage stream.
Thanks for checking.
And then this was one of the other ones that was marked. You can kind of see it coming up. This being the right side of the house from the street. And then there is kind of notable ledge area, even under the snow, you can see some of the rocks coming up.
Yeah. It's a pretty big house. Nice house.
So, I thought there was 3 trees coming down. Did we see 3?
Without having the plan open, since I have these open, I believe it's further back there, maybe.
Yeah, the third one is a small oak tree behind that the codominant tree.
Yeah.
It's a small oak tree that's
Like 7 inches maybe?
like 7 inches. It's
Yeah.
pretty small. It's a pretty insignificant tree. But I don't know, you might be able to see it if you go back to that other codominant oak. Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Oh, look at all these pictures. So you saw the 2 big ones. Allison, would you like to see them up close? Should we do a site visit for these?
No, I think that they're kind of, they were woodland trees that must have been woods not that long ago. I can tell that they're really high branching. They're not like specimen trees. They just got a big trunk on them. They don't have that much canopy that I can tell from the photographs. It's not like they're, I mean, often you'll see a 30-inch oak and it'll be like,
Right.
really great. These are more, I think they were woodland, in the woodland. They weren't in open land. So they have a narrow canopy. So they're like, I mean, they're okay, but they're not like amazing trees. So
Interesting.
I think they look healthy though. They don't look unhealthy to me, even with storm damage, but just, I can tell, I can't really tell, but just looking at them, they look, they don't look like they're dying, but I don't think it's worth a site visit. I think this is more of a, they're doing a lot of work with moving on the other trees, and most of them are native. Historia aren't native, but the other ones are. I think added trees. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, it would be nice to be able to save at least one of the two, but the one that's easier to save is the double. This one is very more close to the grading, I think. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about it.
You can keep thinking about that.
Yeah.
Clay, you can take the photos down. I think that's good. Thank you very much. So besides thinking a little bit more about the trees, do we need any more information for this project? And does the applicant feel that removing both of the large oak trees is critical to your design?
Well, I would say that my son would definitely say yes. We've got the ledge is actually quite beautiful. It's fully natural. And it's a kind of a focal point when you're in the house, sort of looking out, and there's a natural path that comes from the top grade to the right side of the house, kind of to the inside of that ledge. And the best place for the path to come out now is where that tree is. So it's not an optimal location for that one at the bottom of the path. The double stem, he's got a bugaboo about trees falling down in the kids' bedrooms. And that's one where he said, boy, in a big storm, it's just not, it doesn't, if you saw it up close, that's called a codominant stem tree. I have to remember that. It's very, very deep. So it's not a big tree. It's two. And that thing looks like, to me, I can't tell you whether it's healthy or not, but it could split. And you don't want that to happen.
Well, often a double tree is not one tree. It could be two trees.
I understand this.
Yeah, so that's less likely to split
Yeah,
than one tree that's got two leaders.
Yeah, I know Rolf, for me on my property, every time I have one of those, he cables, those two stems, at some point, just to keep them, so that they can play off of each other when, swaying in the wind and everything. The Stewardia, the paperbark maple, they're absolutely beautiful trees. I mean, I told him when they bought that house, I said, boy, you buy the house for the trees. And those we will do everything we can to save. We've identified somebody who has a big enough bucket truck, to do a spade, to do a good job digging them up. They'll be in a great location.
Great, thank you. We appreciate your comments. So anybody else, are we ready to close this hearing? I mean, and with the only thing I'm hearing that we're thinking hard about is the trees. I don't know, does anybody in the commission have any further thoughts about the two large oak trees? Are we ready to close this hearing? We have everything we need?
Does look like you have at least one person in the audience that has comment.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
And
Anybody in the audience? Okay.
yeah, I would also just like to say, if anybody's listening on a through a phone, if anybody on a phone wanted to raise their hand as well, the buttons to do so is *9 to raise hands. I just like to throw that out there. But for right now, we've got Ellen Quinn Meager, and I will allow you to talk. You'll have to unmute yourself.
All right, Ellen.
Hi,
you hear us?
we are the abutters at 170 Richardson Drive. On the other side of the wetlands, our driveway is contiguous to the wetlands, and we just want to make sure that there aren't going to be any disturbances to the wetlands.
Now, from what the plan that I saw, the new house will be a little bit in the about 100 feet from the wetlands. It looks like it's about maybe 80 feet. How close is the closest corner?
Yeah, you're right, about 80 feet.
About 80 feet. They will not be in the wetlands at all, and they will not even be within 50 feet of the wetlands. They are going to move some of the trees around that will be between 50 and 100 feet. And the new house will be about 80 feet away from the wetlands.
Well, we are delighted to have the new house and we love our neighbors. We are concerned because those wetlands right there, and maybe all of them, have been unbelievably decimated this season. We constantly walk on the trails in the woods, and the damage and the decimation to all the trees is just heartbreaking.
From what?
Weather? I'm guessing weather. I mean, I don't know if any of you have been into those trails that go between our backyard at 170 Richardson and they go all the way back to Farley Pond. It's awful. Everything is broken. Everything is broken and falling down.
So from the weather, okay, so not because people are destroying
Exactly.
things, but
No,
because of the
no,
weather,
it's
we've
not
had a
man-made.
harsh.
I don't know if it was from droughts or what, but it's been an awful year or two for trees in our area.
Allison, have you seen that? And is it just the trees that are at a certain age that all of a sudden?
Maybe.
Yeah, she's right. You're right, Ellen, about, I think that the drought was very prolonged, and in a wetland, and there's also more development that's happened, which changes the water table. And trees that are in wetlands are more sensitive to environmental changes than other trees in other areas, most particularly because they have very shallow roots, because if they go any deeper, they'll be in the water. So they are very likely to blow over, to get rot. You know, the species that grow in wetlands are not generally as long-lived as ones higher up, like the oaks that are going to be taken down. Red maples and like gray birch, and a lot of the wetland and trees don't live that long. So it could be a combination of a lot of things. It could be insect damage. It could be disease. But I do know that wetland trees are more susceptible to these environmental stresses than other places and other plantings. This is one reason why we have Concoms.
It's just been a couple of tough years, I think, for the wetlands. It's very wet there now. And we see a little more wet in the woods than we ever saw before. So, I mean, maybe it's just what nature's doing, but
it could be more runoff coming from lawns that are being expanded.
Yep.
And we are getting more historical, it's more rain.
Yeah.
Than we have gotten.
Bigger storms, yeah.
There was a lot of rain in this fall. I mean, where we had the drought all summer, and then it started to rain, and we finally caught up, I think, by Christmas. Thank you, Ellen. Does that answer your question? Do you have anything
It
else?
does, thank you.
Oh, Sue's here. Sue, can you hear us? You're on mute if you're talking. Well, Sue's here.
Can you hear me now?
Anybody? Okay. Anybody else? If we have, anybody else in the audience have anything to add? Anybody in the applicant have anything more to add, the applicant's team? Are we ready to close this hearing? Do we have all the information we need? I'm going to go around one more time just to let everybody either say that we're ready or ask their questions. Steve?
No questions.
Artie?
Nope.
Bill?
No.
Peter?
Nope.
Allison?
No.
Sue?
No.
Any questions? All right, so we're ready to close the hearing?
I move that we close the hearing for 138 Richardson Drive.
Artie, was that you? Did you just second?
Someone else did. I'll second it if no one speaks up.
I was like, I thought I heard somebody said that they
I
seconded.
heard a vote.
All right, you're all right. You already seconded.
Uh,
All in favor, Allison,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Janet, aye. Okay, that was a little tiring, but thank you for participating. And so the hearing has been closed. We will be discussing an order of conditions after our next hearing. So thank you very much. You're welcome to stay on. It's a public hearing, or you can go away. Whatever works for you. All right.
Thank you very
our
much.
next-
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, Diane has arrived. Well, while Diane's kind of getting organized, we'll talk about 636 Charles River Street, the tree removal request. Deb, do you have anything do we have anybody about that? Hold on.
Yep, Jim Ambrosi is here from Hartney
Oh.
Graymont.
All right. Gosh, where did has he been here the whole time?
Mm-hmm. He has.
Oh, there he is. You've been nodding away. Okay. You can hear us, Jim?
Yes, yep.
Okay, great. So can you tell us about the trees at 636 Charles River Street? This
Yes,
is a discussion.
This is an area along there's a man-made pond that goes from Charles River Street up into this property. The homeowner at 636 owns the pond, and along one side of it is where their power comes into their property.
Do you want us to share your screen, or do you
Yeah,
want Clay to put up the pictures?
Put that picture up, that'd be great. It'd be a little easier.
The overview picture of the last one I sent you, Clay? If you can put that up, would be helpful.
Yep, there we go. So that pond right in the middle of it is part of this property. The red marker there is their house. And the power to their house and the other house that's on the pond comes in from Charles River Street, that little the yellow highlight area that I put on it.
Oh, okay.
Comes right along the edge of the pond. Through the woods. It's a very tough area to access there. We actually had a discussion of why it comes there. I think the previous owner just didn't want to see power lines, so they found the most obscure way to get the power and cable, everything into the property. So that area where I've highlighted has a lot of dead trees. We've also now got, some of it is neglect, but some of it is through some beavers who have come into the area and have killed quite a few trees in that area. What they're concerned about and what I was concerned about are trees that are just impacting the power line itself. There's a lot of them that don't. When we finally kind of really took a good look at it, there was the 9 trees that were actually an impact that if they did break off, they'd probably land on the power line. So the other trees are just in the area, in that whole area. Most of these are actually closer to Charles River Street than the other side. But so that's the concern. They're trees that have been killed. Most of them are killed by beavers. A few look like they may have just been dead for a while because that area's been pretty neglected.
And how close to the pond is the closest one?
It's pretty close, within 10 feet probably or less. It's right along the side. It's actually, it looks to me like it's a dike that was actually built. It's kind of a little bit of a raised area that goes all along the side of the pond. And that was a man-made pond. And I think that's what they used to kind of dam it up originally to create the pond. At least that's what it looked like to me anyways.
Does it somehow connect to the Charles River?
Yes, right where that field is, where you come from Charles River Street through that yellow marked area, and there's that big field. Along the upper side of that is basically an inlet that goes right into the Charles River.
So how
There
many
are
trees-
some pictures. I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but there are,
Okay, go for it.
you did provide us some pictures, right, Jim?
Yeah, and they're just pictures of sort of a general idea. They all pretty much look the same, but I tried to get a sort of representation of what they look like. They probably range from about 6 inches in diameter. There was one pretty good size one that was about 20 inches in diameter. But most of them are in that 6 to 12 inch range. Okay, this is the first, this actually is one that I told the homeowner it did not need to be removed. You see, it kind of has that lean to the right, which is actually away from the power line. So I said, if that tree falls, it's not going to hit anything. So that was just an example one which is totally dead, but we said there's just really no reason to remove it. This one is totally dead. You can almost see the bark on the right side of it starting to fall off. It's probably less than 3 feet from the power lines, essentially there.
Are these red dots the ones you're taking down?
Some of them had been marked, but I told her we obviously hadn't got permission to do that at that point yet. They are ones that we were considering removing, yes.
And so the power lines are basically just right along the pond.
Right along it to the right of that picture, it's probably less than 10 feet to the pond itself.
And how are you going to get equipment in there to do this?
We're not. There's no way to do it. What we thought we would do, and talking to Deb about this, it might be a better situation to leave the wood back there anyways. Just kind of spread it out, so it's not dangerous or piled up or anything. But we thought to leave it there. It would all have to be taken down by hand. There's just no way any like that's one of her concerns is if the power goes out, it's going to be days or weeks before they could ever get it put back at that point.
So your crew will go in by hand and cut each of these trees by hand and then leave the wood on the ground.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep, it'll all be by hand. Just there's not a lot of brush because they've been dead for a while now. The limbs are sort of falling off. There's some brush, but it's mostly pieces of wood, logs, basically small logs.
But the brush will just be leave there too. You don't need to take anything away.
Right, we're not going to take anything away. That's a good example of one with the beaver damage at the bottom. They're pretty amazing animals. You can see it's actually they've chewed more on the right side of it, which is with the side of the pond. So it's like you make a notch cut if you're cutting a tree down to allow the tree to fall that way into the water. They're pretty good at what they do. It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you see active beavers on that pond?
I have seen them. I did not see any when we were down here this last couple of times. I've not seen them. So this is the one with the bark falling off is one that should come down. These two actually are. It's so far, it's been dead. This has been dead for a long time. It's so decomposed. I couldn't even tell you why it died. It could just be it just could be just shaded out from the other tree. So it's pretty hard to tell what it is or anything else of that sort, really. Okay. This, I believe, this is the one that's probably the largest tree. And again, it's very close to the lines as well. This one does have some brush on it. It's been dead a little less frequent, a little less recently. So it's got some big limbs above the power line. So this is going to have to be kind of pulled and dropped the other way. You can see actually on the left is just an old one that broke off years ago. We actually saw that, I actually met a guy from Northern Tree who's contractor with the, for the power company. He was down looking at it to see if something he could do. There's one that we just couldn't touch because it was all intermingled with the wires. And he pointed out there was a splice on it where it had actually broken off and probably took the wires out at one point a while ago. I told them they can figure out how to do it, but I didn't want to touch one that was kind of mixed in with the wires. I think that may be the last one. Oh, okay. And just another one. This one is right next to one of the poles. And it's, again, it's within less than a foot from the pole actually at that point. So, and this is actually a separate question. The homeowner asked me this as we were just leaving. This is one that's down. It's previously down. It's fallen in the pond, obviously. So I just wanted to get clarification. She asked if it's something we could clean up when we're there. And I said, I just don't know. I'd have to check with you guys on that one. So.
We'll come back to that question, so don't forget about it.
Okay, I think that, I think that is the last one. Again, those are, the trees are all pretty similar. They're all dead. There's a lot more of them. We figured at least 15, probably closer to 20 altogether in that area that have died. But these are the ones that just affected, it pretty obviously would hit the lines if they were to.
So how many, is it 15 that you want to take out along that line?
It's nine that we want to take down. Nine
that you want to take out along that line that you were just showing us.
Yeah.
Anybody in the commission have any comments about these trees, concerns? Allison, you want to have any comment? No. Yeah, does it make sense that these should come out? I mean, they're dead anyway, and they're going to leave the wood for any animals along the way in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, I actually wouldn't put it in the pond. I mean.
No.
Yeah. So, and that's the other question. What do we think about the one that's in the pond? And I think the idea it's habitat, I guess, and it's.
I mean, the turtles climb up on it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
do we leave it there? Do we just leave it there? I mean, I get
Yeah.
the idea of wanting to.
If it was the river, I wouldn't. If it was a river, I wouldn't. But being a pond, I think it's nice.
Okay. All right. Leave it in the pond.
Okay.
So you're okay with them cutting it flush, not leaving snags?
Yeah. Is there a reason for that? I mean, I can see not leaving a 10-foot
Well, I think what's going to probably have, the homeowner's been concerned about the access here if something does happen. Because originally I asked them to have the power company see if they could take these down. And they basically say, call us when the line goes down. So she didn't want to wait. And so I think that 9, and again, a lot of them are closer to the road. They're sort of in one area. Just having those many snags up in that area just make it a little difficult to walk through to access it. That's really the main reason with that. The smaller ones would probably fall over fairly soon anyways, but.
I guess I don't really have a problem with it. Anybody else is going to go one by one? Stephen?
No issues.
Artie?
Great idea. It's probably well beyond the time when they need to be taken care of. And I agree with leaving the tree in the pond. We've done things like that before, so good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my only question is whether there's any thought of trying to protect trees from beavers. I mean, there are some things you can do because it looked like some of those trees have just been ringed. Some of them have been partially cut down. So you might be strategic about other trees that haven't been touched yet, but that might be beavers might be tempted to try to take.
Well, so they've tried to use some was it hardware cloth, the kind of metal fencing around some of them. I think that'll work. It seems to be, and again, I'm guessing there's still some active beavers in there because there had to be more than one doing.
And if they're not now, there will be. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind. I hadn't thought about that. So that's great. Allison?
No, no comments. It's good.
Bill?
And just, are there any nesting birds in the 9 trees that you saw?
No, definitely not. That all but the bigger one. I mean, we wouldn't probably hold a bird at this point. It's so decayed. But even that one, there's no signs of really anything on those trees. So.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Sue, do you have anything?
No comment.
Good. good. So, does that mean, do we need a vote on this or do we?
Well, I just wanted to make sure you were comfortable with me doing it through an administrative approval because of the number of trees.
Yeah,
So if you guys are okay with that, then you don't need to vote
Yeah.
on anything. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure you didn't want more permitting for that number.
yeah, I think we're all okay with it, but I think this is a case by case thing. So we appreciate you coming in and having the conversation with us and, because it's not, we wouldn't just let anybody cut down all the trees.
Right.
And
No,
I did meet him out there, so I have, we spent some time out there
Great. All right.
a while ago.
Thank you.
so.
So thank you very much for coming.
Okay,
And you're gonna do that while the ground's frozen. That's the idea.
right, that's to do it fairly soon, in the next couple of weeks, probably at this point in there, so.
Right.
I just want to make a little comment, just on the last project
Yeah.
that came up, just the wetlands, the wood damage the comment was made. I've never seen so much damage. It's not just wetlands, it's everywhere. And I've talked to Ed Olson of the town. Both of us have never seen so many storms that have come in. And I think the drought kind of weakened things. It kind of set things up a little bit. And then you have this kind of brittle wood develop from that. And then you had all just storm after storm this year. And I've never seen anything like it in 30 some years I've been doing this. It's just,
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, South Street, they had to keep closing South Street because all the trees were falling on South Street.
it's amazing, it really is.
That's thanks for adding that.
Okay, thanks very
Great.
much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Okay, next
Thank
on the
you.
agenda is 30 Taylor Street. Does not have a DEP file number yet? Or
It does now. It just got one this afternoon.
All right, so DEP file number 234860.
Yes.
And this is 30 Taylor Street, a notice of intent, and Diane is here. And is the applicant also here, Lindsay?
She said she was gonna try, but I don't see her on here, so.
Oh, here you are.
Yes, so
Okay.
Diane from Field Resources, I'm here for the applicant, and I'm also here with Inga Daniels. I don't know if you see her, Clay, if you could allow her in as well.
Yep, I will promote her right now.
Thank you. So we have a combination of plans. If I could share the screen with you, is that okay?
Okay.
So I will bring up, let's try that again. I will bring up our plan first, and for some reason it's not letting me share. Yeah, it's not allowing me to share.
Just a moment. It might be because we had to bring you in from attendee.
Try that again. So Clay, I don't know if you can bring up the plan, the field resources plan first, maybe?
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's not allowing me. I tried again.
It's an interesting little snafu in our system. I was so impressed that you were how to pull up.
There we go. So, so 30 Taylor, and I don't know if you remember, Janet, I know you were on the board when we came to you originally for the new construction of the single family home about 7 years ago.
You're aging me.
Well, I was here too. So, so we came to the board for the single family home where they originally proposed a pool. The contractor proposed a pool further back into the lot, deeper into the lot, though it was never built. So the order was closed without the pool. So with the new homeowner, they came in. Now at this point, they'd like to propose a pool, which you'll see which intersects the 100-foot buffer line. So we have the proposed pool. We have a patio that goes along with that. And again, the wetlands have been delineated by Leah Bastine, who delineated the lot for us. Currently, there is a a small retaining wall at the 50-foot buffer line, halfway through the lot, in the back there where his cursor is for the most part.
Is it existing or proposed?
That is existing.
Oh, okay.
That was from the previous work. That will remain. And in the last, and again, Inga will talk more about the plantings, but there were some plantings that were put in that we will, some of them, and again, I'll let Inga talk about the plantings, but the there was a planting bed along that wall as well. So for the proposed project that we have, again, is the pool, the patio. They have a little planting area up front. They call it a cook's planter with herbs and such. We also have a in-ground trampoline and a play area. And in the back of the lot, if you see in the back by the easement there, that play area is going to be just inside the 100-foot buffer, but it'll be between the 50 and 100-foot buffer. That's the only area that's outside of the existing lawn area. For that play set, we're going to have to replant one tree that was planted from the previous order, but that will be put back within the 100-foot buffer. And again, Inga will talk about the other plantings, some of which are not as healthy as she'd like to see them. But we also have the yard that will be enclosed with a black vinyl fence and also chain link. It's going to be a combination of the two types of fence.
So the fence, like I see a little fence line, is that?
Right, the fence goes up the left side. It basically goes around the play area where it says drain easement, and it comes back around, and it's going to be just on the side closest to the wetlands. It's going to be just inside the 50-foot buffer, or that limit of work, which was demarked by that wall. So it's going to be just inside. So it's going to be at like the 51-foot line from the bordering vegetated wetland. And then it comes down around on the right side and locks back into the house. Up front, basically where it says the proposed self-locking gate up front there.
Oh, wait, what is this?
On the right side of.
Oh, okay, oh, yeah, okay.
So again, with this proposed work, we're adding approximately a little bit over 1,600 square feet of impervious, of which we will be mitigating for with a Cultex, with the 3 HDXL Cultex, which that will be added to an existing recharge system that's in the back, on the back left corner. You'll see that dotted highlighted area. That is an existing Cultex trench that was put in for the single family home, and we will be adding additional Cultex to that area. That will be recharging the pool patio. There's going to be drains within the impervious patio that will recharge from there into that infiltration system.
Is there a pipe or something?
Yeah, it will be piped from, again, they'll have drains from the patio underground that go to the Cultex.
So that's not shown on this plan, is it?
No, we don't show the underground. No, we do not. We do have the detail up top, but we don't show specifically how the pipe's going to go. But again, it's the grading is going to be such that it's going to drain into the drains in the patio. And the system will be collected through the pipes to the Cultex system.
The landscape architect maybe has thought about that a little bit more. It's probably outside of the buffer zone anyway. My guess is those drains. Okay.
I don't have the grading plan pulled up in front of me, but I believe the idea is to have, am I allowed to annotate here? Yeah.
Well, before you do, Clay, is there another plan that you can pull up? Okay.
Is there another one besides that one? Well, this will, I mean, I can point it out on this one. So we have it graded so that there's a drain here, I believe, and a drain here, and this is a little plant bed. So those two can be piped to the Caltech chambers, and then we actually, there's kind of some topography is going in this direction, so we could add, you know, either have this bed absorb some of the rainwater, have it be depressed, and or include a third drain in there.
Well, whatever, how, I mean, it's your design, so, and you're outside of the buffer, I'm glad to see you're adding infiltration and managing the stormwater. I think the one with the little planter you were kind of showing in the middle, that little oval shaped area, looked like it was a high point. I had a feeling that that might be where you were gonna put a drain, but it's a high point in the patio, it looks like, so, and that's kind of why I asked the question. I'm like,
We're pitching pitching it toward that area. So there's like a high point here and a high point here.
Oh, okay. And then that becomes a low point. Okay, great.
Yeah. Sorry, my heat just turned on in my office building, so it's very loud.
So do you want to say more about the plants and the trees that are being removed and the
Sure. So the red X's indicate trees that are, actually, let me clear my X's I just threw for grading. So these red X's indicate trees that are going to be removed, some of them to be transplanted. So for instance, Diana already mentioned this maple here. We're going to transplant approximately, oh, it's right there. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, sorry?
I don't know which one you just said you're going to transplant.
This one?
Can you circle it? Oh, that one. Okay,
It's
got it.
going to there. And that's just a small, it's probably like a 2-inch caliper maple.
Okay.
And then for the rest, these are trees that were originally planted for the previous work, the previous permitting. They are in various states of, I have to say, none of them look fantastic. There are a lot of white pines, and there are some oaks. The white pines in particular, am I able to share my screen? I can show you some images of the plants. Oh, we'll need to stop that share if you want me to share images of the plants. Thank you. You're seeing that? So actually this is, these are the little maples. Only one of them is in the buffer. This one right here is one that will be transplanted. This one will be transplanted as well, but that's outside of the buffer. And this shows you that the area where that place set is supposed to go is, it is not lawn, but it is currently a mulched area.
Oh, that's where the place that's going to go. Okay.
Yes. That's the location of the play structure. Just go to the next page here. Here we go. So here you can see, this is, one of the worst cases of the white pines. It looks really rough. And then
this was planted 7 years ago?
Yeah. They were planted that long ago, and they're, you can see don't have anything there for scale really, but they're definitely less than 10 feet. I would say probably 8 to 9. What else do I have here? Oh, well, I can come back to that later. So of those, we're going to try to save 3 of those pines and transplant those sorry, navigating annotation. Transplant those to the property line over here. And then for the rest, so that's, if you come up to the chart here, that's a total of 4 of the 11 to be removed that will just be transplanted outright. And then we are proposing replacing the balance, the 7 remaining with 6 trees and 16 shrubs. And those are listed over here. So we have a couple of Nissa. Those are the only things that we want to plant below the 50-foot, below that retaining wall. So actually, you know, one is technically in the 50-foot and one is just outside. And then the balance would be on top of that wall. We would have redbud, dogwood, and then for the rest, it would be serviceberry, inkberry, the rose bay, rhododendron, and a lot of this area in here is going to be about a 3-to-1 slope. So we want to get a lot of yellow root in there to really secure that slope.
Inga, did you want to talk a little bit about the invasive program that you also had?
Yeah, sure, thanks.
Susie, do you have a picture of that wall by any chance?
Let me see what's on this next image. You can see the top of it here. I can pull up more site photos if you like.
Oh, this is the top of the wall. Oh, it's just a Versalog wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thanks. I don't know what I was envisioning. I was envisioning a beautiful stone wall.
No, sadly no.
It does have the permanent markers on it.
Ah.
Because it's the 50-foot no disturb.
And it's, I would say it's probably at its highest, it's maybe a 3-foot wall. So there are some invasive materials at the bottom of that wall. Here's a picture. You can clearly see the Japanese knotweed. There's multiflora rose, there's garlic mustard. So we have included in the narrative proposal for managing those invasives over time. So that's part of our request.
Are you all done with your presentation?
And did I miss anything?
I think that sounded good.
So how many trees total are how many trees total are being removed completely, not being transferred?
7.
7. And are they all previous things that were planted 7 years ago and didn't do well?
Yes, yeah. And I haven't had an arborist out. Some of it, frankly, some of that material could be on its last legs. Some of it's in very rough shape. But for the rest, I think the owners would like to, and the design is to really open up the view into the woodland and the wetland area. So having the white pines there is just, forming a barricade. So we'd like to really just kind of open that up and bring that view into the landscape.
And the trees that are established within that 50-foot buffer, none of the older established trees are being removed.
That's correct.
Okay. Anybody have any comments? Stephen?
No comment, sorry.
Artie?
Only that, to be honest, only due really to the last comment. Everything will probably be fine, but as the comment was opening up everything, opening the view to the wetland. isn't that kind of the opposite of what we're trying to do to some degree? No, we're not necessarily trying to open up views to wetlands. Or the
Well,
wetland.
it's a visual.
Yeah.
I don't think, you want to explain better what you're thinking?
Sure, yeah, it's so really the only thing right now visually between the, you know, the pool, the future pool area and the wetland are these very sad white pines, these sad struggling white pines. So to either move or remove those and frame the view with other, you know, better plant, I would say, yeah, better plant material that's going to be more suitable to that woodland edge condition, I think is going to really enhance the woodland view and frankly also the quality of the wetland.
So when you're talking about the wetland, you
Mhm.
also are talking about the 50-foot buffer, I assume.
Yes, I am included. Yes, correct.
Want to give a little description of what that includes? What's in that 50-foot buffer that we want to look at? That anybody wants to look at, that the homeowner wants to look at?
Well, Diane, do you want to describe the wetland itself? I mean, it's
Yep. It's actually a the wetland line does meander. There's actually and this is, we had actually we delineated twice because we delineated in the fall where there's actually an upland in the middle somewhat of the wetland that that kind of caught Leah's eye and felt as though that was all upland. So it is kind of meandering through that area. Most of it comes down from the street above, and it's mostly drainage that comes down off the streets that collect in that area. And it's been pretty, in the last few years, actually, I've noticed it has changed somewhat. But again, the line does meander through that area in the back between the lots on Taylor, and I can't think of the street in the backside. So there is that wetland area that collects runoff from the streets.
But there
And
are
what kind
some
of trees,
spots
what
of
kind of trees
upland.
are in that 50-foot buffer?
There are spots. I'm sorry, Jen?
What type of trees are in that 50-foot
Oh,
buffer?
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me look at that. I have that here. Again, it's been a while since we've been to the site, but I know I have that in my write-up. So the wetlands are delineated, again, by Leah, and we have the hydrology of the plants. Where red maples, arrowwood, jewelweed, skunk cabbage. Yeah, and the skunk cabbage, that's how she, those are the primary plants in that area, in that wetland area.
Okay.
So
Does
in
that help at
terms
all,
of,
Artie?
so
Yes.
sorry, just in terms of, you know, going back to your question, Artie, about opening up the views, like we're really, the view is into the woodland, you know, and we're seeing those upland areas, and that the lower area is, you know, kind of wrapping around in front. So it's, you know, really just bringing that woodland view into the picture.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Just philosophically, I can appreciate it. Visually, I can appreciate it. Just, there's just the statement sounds like you're, the goal is to wipe stuff out so you can see it, but I get it. That's not really the goal. Okay, thank you.
Sue, do you have any comments or questions?
No comment.
Peter?
I'm good.
Bill?
The only comment I have is, I think typically when you have a swimming pool, oftentimes you have to backwash filters and drain the pools from time to time. I think it'd be wise to have an area with some crushed stone or something that you could discharge to, maybe a dry well or something. You will get erosion over time if on a discharge pipe. Think about where that might go, and it can be just something simple enough as putting some crushed stone in just a place for water to discharge. But other than that, also that water oftentimes will have a chlorine residual, and maybe depending on what filtration you use, and diatomaceous earth or something that could clog, other stormwater systems. So I wouldn't interconnect them at all. So you should consider again, I'm not saying you need to spend a lot of money, but with elaborate underground systems, but you should think about where to place that water when you need to discharge.
So they shouldn't just allow it to dump into the subsurface infiltration system that's connected to the.
I don't think that's a good idea because sometimes the volumes can be hundreds and thousands, or maybe 1,000 gallons a time. So again, I don't mind surface discharging, but if you surface discharge, you should think about erosion over time. So.
Okay.
Allison?
I was just wondering about the pines. Were they planted on an area that had been filled? Because when I see
Probably because there's a wall.
because when I see pines like that haven't done well, it tells me that there's a problem with the soil and that they could have a fungal disease and it's not draining. I'm not saying keep them, but it may not, it may be that you could transplant them and fertilize them. And I mean, all you'd have to do is dig them up and see if the root system hasn't grown at all and it's sitting in clay or on bad stuff, that's why they're not doing well. And if you're trying to plant in that again, you're going to have the same problem. So I would test that soil and look at it. Send it to UMass. They're testing now again. They have been doing it for a while. They stopped for a while.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a good suggestion. Anything else? Did you guys have anything else? It looks like a lot of fun. The pool and the trampoline and that. It's like, this is a fun kind of house. It's interesting that the trees, when I first looked at the plan, I saw all those X's and I was really kind of anxious about the removal of all those trees. So it's interesting that they were just planted 7 years ago and they haven't done well. So I think Allison's suggestion of looking at the soil is an excellent one. So and
that is fill there. They did fill a foot or two there. So
yeah, they must have, because there's the wall and
Yeah.
the wall goes onto the natural surface.
And we will also look at the suggestion of some type of pit for the backwash.
Yeah.
And so you're totally taking away 7 trees, and how many are being planted?
6 trees are being proposed and 16 shrubs.
Is that how our math works?
Yeah, that's using the 2-to-1 for the trees and 4-to-1 for the shrubs.
Debbie, are you nodding? Are you like, is that true? Is that how it works?
I'm sorry, I was shooing my son away from being in the meeting. So yes, in certain circumstances, we do allow 4 shrubs per tree.
Okay. Okay, anybody else? Do we need any additional information? Does anyone need to go out and look at these trees? Are we comfortable? Are we ready to close the hearing?
I don't have a draft because they just got the number today. So it will
So
be
we don't have to
continued.
close the hearing if anybody.
Well,
has
it will be
anything-
closed and then we'll have to vote on the order at the next meeting.
So what do people want to do? I'll take a motion if somebody wants to give me one. Allison's trying hard.
I motion that
go
close
ahead.
hearing for 30 Taylor Street.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Stephen?
Aye.
What happened to Sue? Sue's back. Peter?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Now I've lost it. Artie?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Janet, aye. Did we get everybody?
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Bill. You're right there in front of me too. All right. Thank you very much. We can, this hearing's been closed.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
But we won't be getting an order of conditions because we don't have it written up yet. So that'll be next year.
Next year.
Thanks so much for coming, all your explanations. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is remaining? Do we have any meeting minutes?
No meeting minutes. I did upload a draft Exhibit A for 138 Richardson Drive, but only just this afternoon. I don't know if anybody's had a chance.
Yeah, I think we can probably get to that. Any enforcement or violations?
No.
Anything else to discuss?
Just one quick, so I forwarded, the Mass DOT plans to you guys a couple times. They were looking to see if we had any comments on the clearing, grubbing schedule, for the Needham Newton corridor project, because they're gonna be starting work on it later this month. So Janet was interested in doing a site visit just to see what they're up to. So they have availability whenever we wanted to go next week. We just need to give them a date and time.
Is anybody
So I-
else interested in going?
Exactly.
I'm just feel like they're right there by the river. Should at least look at it once. But I'm happy to just go and schedule something if anybody wants to join.
Where is it? Where is it again? Where are we visiting again?
Is it Needham Street?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Needham Street in Newton, they're gonna be clearing.
And then they're installing piping, manholes, bridge work, that kind of stuff. Once they.
It's Highland Ave and Needham.
Right, Highland Avenue, Needham Street in Newton. Sorry.
We're not doing work in Newton.
Yeah, very true.
But it's right there at that bridge.
Yeah.
That's the historic bridge, right?
So no one else is interested?
Have they flagged the trees, Janet, or marked them that are being taken down?
That would help. If they,
I don't know, but I'll reach out to them and ask.
Deb, can you just let me know when you guys are going, and I'll, if I'm available, I'd like to go, but my schedule's pretty tight. So.
Yes, same.
Sorry, Sue?
Yes,
the
same.
same.
Okay.
Be interesting.
Next Friday the 19th could work for me, if that works for others. Or
What time? Mornings or afternoons are better if we can.
oh, afternoons are better for you?
Well, early morning I could do early.
I think they said anytime between 7 and 3.
What, I mean, is 7 work?
7,
too
8,
early?
that works. Yeah. Yeah, 7:30 is perfect.
Okay,
7:30 on that Friday, could you do?
7:30 on the 19th.
Okay.
And on Highland Avenue, Needham.
And we'll ask them to mark the trees that they're gonna be removing.
Or the limits of clearing. I just have to mark the limits.
Okay.
It's a pretty sizable area, right, Deb? I think this is where the detention or retention pond is going before it goes into the Charles.
Right.
Right next to the existing path.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so I'll try to set that up for next Friday at 7:30. The only other thing I had was, Peter, you may know, we had someone reach out to us asking if we knew any locations in Needham that they could see bluebirds. They said that they didn't see any at Ridge Hill this summer and was wondering if there was other locations that they may be able to look.
Yes. So the best place for bluebirds is Charles River Peninsula.
Charles River Peninsula.
There's usually at least one nesting box that has bluebirds.
Okay.
Ridge Hill does have bluebirds.
Yeah.
And there is one box that they use all the time, which is on the right side. Well, I don't remember which number it is, but there's
Okay.
there's
Well, I know we
consistent
used
nesting
to
there.
find them and take pictures of them and all that. We didn't get out last summer, but just as another location, we can point her in that direction.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Have you
That's
seen
all.
any eagles around, Peter?
I haven't seen them here, but they're pretty common these days.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there are
Yeah,
rosemary.
I've seen them on Facebook. I've
I've seen
seen
them on
people,
Facebook.
I've seen them on Facebook. They have their own page.
I know.
Um,
I'm part of that page. Yeah.
Are
I
you?
like it.
So
I see them.
they do mention them pretty regularly that they've
Wildlife,
seen them.
Edam's wildlife page.
No,
Mhm.
I see them usually when I'm driving 128 over the highway. They fly
Oh,
over.
interesting. Hmm. All right,
I
so
see a lot of
that's
hawks.
all
but
I
okay.
have.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. 7:30 February. Okay, so now we have the order of conditions for 138 Richardson Drive. Did anybody read it, look at it? And do we have anything to add? What do we think about those two trees, Allison?
Oh, I don't know. I think the one is too close and it's gonna die. Then the double has a problem. It's a little unstable. And they're not amazing. So I mean, I'm not gonna fight about it.
Okay, I felt like they had a pretty good argument and discussion and they were pretty clear and they
Yeah.
weren't just haphazardly cutting down every
No.
tree on the property. So.
Although I don't understand, the house looks like a nice house.
Looks like a beautiful house.
I know, like, how could another one be that much better? But never mind. I don't know.
I know, so sad.
I like that house. I thought it was really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
People make choices. That's,
Yeah.
I guess that's not
Maybe
our.
it'll be a modern, writing house or something. I don't know.
Mm. I don't know.
Is there anybody in the audience that we're supposed to be asking questions? If they want
I see that there's at least one other person still in the audience.
to. Okay.
I've not seen any raised hands or otherwise.
Okay. So order of conditions for 138 Richardson Drive. Peter, do you have any comments? You're on mute.
Looks pretty straightforward.
I thought it looked pretty straightforward. If nobody has anything to add, do you want to pull that up, Clay? Is there anything in yellow that we're supposed to comment about specifically?
It's primarily like our other stock orders. I have to populate the most recent plan information. There were 6 sheets of plans that'll be included under the plan of records.
Yep.
As far as the special conditioning goes, I did have just some comments for the engineers before the meeting about having the soils kind of evaluated for the stormwater unit. I know that they did do the stormwater report and they had 3 test pits, deep hole test pits done on the site as a whole. So I think there's some level of confidence that it can go in as proposed, that we won't see the same plans coming back to us, in a couple months once they've started construction and realize that they can't actually put it there. But I did want to still include that they have to submit, additional documentation or just something that says that the soils were evaluated before getting that far, before they start putting in new foundations.
Yep. Sounds good.
That is a stock thing that we use, but in this case, they did provide some information. I think that just having it in there will get them over the rest.
As Bill pointed out that they might hit ledge where they don't expect it, so.
The rest is about the mitigation plantings. So I do have that there was the removal of 3 trees within buffer zone and the transplanting of 1 tree that was just at the very edge. The rest of the transplants are outside buffer. And I feel that their replacement plantings addressed 4 plants. Originally, they thought they had 4 removal trees in buffer, so they did replace with 4 replacement trees and 8 replacement shrubs. So those look at the 2-year monitoring. And then just as part of that, we have the mitigation planting areas tend to need to be maintained in perpetuity as predominantly natural conditions. In this case, they're pretty much getting replanted at the, at the top of the ledge and around the ledge. So I think that I'll modify that to say the 50-foot buffer zone, because that's where the plantings have been going in, and their limit of disturbance is right at the 50-foot. In this case, their plans do not include anything about having the conservation medallions. I wasn't sure if you wanted those, but otherwise we'll at least put in there that the area needs to be maintained in perpetuity as a naturally planted area just outside those landscaping beds.
People want the medallions? Peter's saying yes, so we want to put them on the 25-foot or or something different?
50, I think.
The 50?
All right,
You'll
I'll
add that?
put in our stock condition for that, for the 50, just so that we don't alter our precedent in how we word that.
And, well, I assume you'll get there, but there'll be a monitoring time?
Yeah, I put in for the stock 2-year, the completion of the 2-year monitoring period with the monitoring reports. That's condition 27 and 28.
I have no further comments. Anybody else? You can pull that down if you want. Only because it's easier to see everybody. So if nobody has any more comments, can I have a motion to approve the order of conditions as, oh yeah, you have to amend, so as amended.
So moved.
Thank you, Artie. Can I have a second? Thank you, Stephen. All in favor? Sue?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Janet? Aye. Great, thanks. Anything else? We're all done?
Just one thing, I'm in theory taking next week off.
You are?
Yeah,
You're allowed?
I have to because I can't accumulate any more vacation time.
Well, that's good. Good for you.
Oh, thanks. So anyways, I didn't know if you need one of us at the site visit on Friday. If you do, then it would be on Clay.
Oh, yeah, if
So-
you want to come, but I'm just, I mean, they're right there next to the river. I think that we should pay a little bit attention, even though it's Mass DOT and they're gonna just do
Do
whatever
what they want
do.
anyways, yeah.
But it's
Okay.
nice to have the discussion.
Is somebody gonna have a plan? I don't know if somebody from the contractor is gonna meet us out there or do
I
we?
will-
Helpful.
I'll make sure that they have their plans with them.
Mark the trees and have a
Mark the
plan.
trees. Okay,
What would really be nice is if they had 11 by 17s that we could hand individually so we don't have to share a plan.
okay.
Because we aren't supposed to be talking to each other so closely.
Is it,
Okay.
do we have some, we must have something on file that Deb or Clay can email to us, right?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
we
we
have
sent you.
Oh,
It's been sent to us, but I can't
Okay.
print 11 by 17.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So you do have them to review, but I'll ask them to bring a couple
Just a
sets of the
few.
11 by 17.
There won't be
Okay,
that many of us there, so just a few. If they could just bring a couple of 11 by 17s to hand us, that'd be great.
okay.
All right.
So I'll set it up, but I probably won't be there.
That's fine.
Okay.
Will you send us, you'll pick up the papers that are in the garage and will you be able to drop off this one at the same time?
Yes, I should be able to. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So
Great.
we'll do.
Well, have a good vacation.
Oh, thank you.
Hey,
I'll
and
be
what do
here in
people-
Norwood, so you know
Yeah.
what could go wrong.
Go wild.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
And are people feeling okay about the 7 o'clock thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion
Great.
to adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.